This is 62-year-old Dale Williams, who was facing murder charges in Youngstown, Ohio. In June 2017, Williams ran his ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Pledger Stewart's car off the road and caused it to crash. Williams then shot and killed the 46-year-old mother of two. After his arrest, Williams pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and weapons charges. Facing the possibility of life in prison, Williams appeared at his sentencing, where the victim's two sons decided to deliver some justice of their own. "30-year-old Anthony Dees jumped across the table, evaded deputies, and dragged Williams down by his feet. Then, 23-year-old Jerome Stewart ran over to help his brother, and the two delivered a barrage of punches and kicks to the defendant. As deputies struggled to contain the brothers, one officer pulled out a taser and shot Stewart. Williams was then escorted from the courtroom as he wiped the blood off his face. Finally, the two aggrieved sons were taken into custody. They faced charges of assault, contempt of court, and obstruction of justice. As for Williams, he was later sentenced to 23 years to life in prison for murdering his ex-girlfriend. While Dale Williams was viciously assaulted by the sons of the woman he killed, what happens when a defendant gets attacked by his own son? Like in the case of Vashon Flowers, who was on trial for murder in Muskegon County, Michigan. In May 2019, Flowers allegedly shot and killed his wife Jamie at their Muskegon Heights home after the two had an argument over cigarettes. Initially, the couple fought for more than a day, after which police arrived and separated the two. Flowers left, but hours later he returned, kicked in the door, and shot Jamie 4 times. The 46-year-old then turned himself in and was charged with open murder. Jamie's daughter, Paris, who witnessed the whole incident, testified in court.
He got down on the ground and started choking my mother. Actually, I heard, "You don't have to do this, Vashon. Please don't do this. You don't have to do this." And then I heard gunshots.
Do you recall how many you heard?
4. I got up and I left out of the room. She was sitting straight up against the wall.
Did you observe some blood?
Yes, on her shirt. Gunshots, bullet holes in her shirt, and blood.
But it was Jamie's son who decided to take matters into his own hands. During a hearing, 21-year-old London Jones was seated in the gallery with the rest of his siblings, when suddenly he leaped over the barricade and headed straight towards his mother's killer. Alert deputies were able to tackle him just in the nick of time. Eventually, the grieving son was restrained and removed from the courtroom. Ultimately, Flowers was convicted of Jamie's murder and sentenced to life in prison. While Vashon Flowers faced his son's fury, what happens when a victim's son attacks his mother's killer? We head to Springfield, Massachusetts, where a hearing is underway for accused serial killer Alfred Gaynor. According to reports, Gaynor terrorized the city of Springfield, where he assaulted and brutally murdered 9 women from 1995 to 1998. Gaynor was finally arrested after his DNA matched with evidence from the crime scenes. Now at a hearing, sitting in the gallery was one of Gaynor's victim's sons, Eric Downs. 3 deputies surrounded Gaynor, but it wouldn't be enough for what was to follow.
Mr. Gaynor's being held in extreme conditions of confinement. He's being held without right to bail.
Without warning, Downs jumped over the barricade and launched into the defendant. Gaynor's sister tried to hold back Downs, but not before the grieving son delivered one final blow. A deputy led Gaynor to safety, while other officers attempted to restore order. Downs was later charged with assault and contempt of court. As for Gaynor, he eventually pleaded guilty to all the murders and was sentenced to 8 consecutive life terms. If one brother can cause so much damage in court, then how does it compare to 2 brothers attacking a defendant? Like in the case of 24-year-old Jason Howard, who was facing multiple murder charges in Warren, Ohio. In 2006, Howard was arrested after he allegedly shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, 27-year-old Jamila West, at her home in Columbus before stalking and suffocating her 3 children to death. Now, at a pretrial hearing, things are about to go out of control. Without warning, the victim's brother, 30-year-old Lewis West, attacked Howard and delivered blow after blow on the shackled defendant. Sergeant Phil Eckenrode was the only one standing between his prisoner and the distraught brother.
It was my job to try to protect my prisoner to the best of my ability.
With Sergeant Eckenrode's hands already full, another sibling, 29-year-old Sultan Honzu, dived through the doorway and started hammering Howard. The situation was threatening to go out of hand, but thankfully, Sergeant Eckenrode gained control of the courtroom and the brothers were arrested. They were later charged with assault. Howard was not seriously injured, barring a few scratches. His murder charges were later dropped based on a lack of evidence. While 2 brothers delivered their own version of courtroom justice, what happens when a distraught teenager lunges at the defendant? Like in the case of James Douglas Gonzalez, who was on trial for murder in Mobile, Alabama. Back in 1992, Gonzalez arrived at a party where he reportedly shot and killed 18-year-old Matthew Hall after the two got into an altercation. Gonzalez later claimed he shot Matthew in self-defense. During trial, the victim's father, Matthew Hall Sr., and younger brother, Kevin, waited anxiously in the gallery for the jury to return with their verdict. Eventually, the jury returned and found Gonzalez guilty of a lesser misdemeanor charge of criminally negligent homicide. Feeling robbed of justice, Kevin Hall decided to take matters into his own hands. Without warning, Kevin jumped from his seat, leaped over a barricade, and charged at the defendant, landing a punch to his face. His father, Hall Sr., soon joined the melee. It took several officers and onlookers to subdue the two. Spectators were left shaken. Gonzalez's mother and grandmother broke down.